Rachel Reeves was really out of her depth, and now she's drowning. She always said she would restore stability to Britain's economy. Ha! What a joke that is. But, of course, the new Iranian crisis is putting paid to all her plans. Just as inflation just started to appear to be falling, there's a surge in oil prices, rising borrowing costs, and these are all threatening to derail everything that she's worked for. Indeed, the 20 billion that she said in her summer statement, the headroom she had, evaporated within 20 minutes of her finishing her speech, thanks to the gilt markets putting the rates up. Now, the Chancellor came into government promising there would be no new taxes on working people, and immediately broke them. Reality is very different. Mind the gap between, they say, between reality and what comes out of Rachel Reeves' mouth. In the first 18 months of government, Labour has introduced roughly 75 billion in new taxes, and at the same time, the government attempted to remove winter fuel payments from many pensioners. Businesses have been hit with higher costs through new taxes on jobs, and opponents say those measures have helped push unemployment higher, weakened economic and consumer confidence. It's always thus with Labour, though, isn't it? Now, despite the backlash, Labour had what they said they had, a clear political strategy. Starmer and Reeves knew the early years of government would be painful, but the plan was simple. Take the difficult decisions early. By the time the next general election arrives in 2029, voters might begin to feel a bit better off and forgotten all about the pain. The key part of that plan depended on inflation falling. Inflation, if it was to drop to 2%, interest rates would fall. Lower rates would ease pressure on homeowners and businesses. They would also reduce the government's borrowing costs. This would give Reeves even more fiscal breathing room. However, the best laid plans of mice and chancellors Afghan Aglay. Events in the Middle East may now have destroyed that plan. Oil prices have surged. They're at nearly $100 a barrel. Expect it to go higher. You could be looking at £2 a litre at the pumps before the end of this week. Some analysts warn it will climb to $150 or $200 a barrel. If it gets to $200 a barrel, you'd be looking at £3.50 a litre. What's that going to do to food prices? At the same time, government borrowing costs are rising rapidly. Gilts have gone up at the fastest rates in years. That increases the cost of servicing Britain's already large, in fact, unsustainable debt. It also risks putting mortgages higher and higher for households, and it reduces the financial room available for the Treasury. In fact, as I say, it's already gone. It has no financial room left. But Reeves is arguing still that Labour has restored stability. God almighty, the woman is delusional. But, economic growth has stalled. We are in stagflation. Inflation is going to get worse. Rising unemployment, lower investment, the most expensive energy in the world. And this woman thinks she's doing a good job. No wonder so many people are leaving. Anyway, even Labour backbenchers now are threatening to oppose major things that are happening. But financial markets are wary of further borrowing, and that only means one thing left: taxes, more taxes, which will kill the economy even quicker, because Labour don't understand. They're too stupid. But all of this raises the stakes for the next budget. Now, the next budget comes in, obviously, at the end of the year, October, November, and she will be sitting there weeping because, she probably won't be in place. It won't be her budget, but she will be weeping because she has no idea what to do and how to get out of this particularly egregious hole in the ground that she has dug for herself. Now, if inflation rises again, it will, especially food inflation. Food inflation could be 15%. That's analysts saying it could be between 10 and 15% increase in food inflation. When the basic staples of milk and bread and eggs are unaffordable, you're getting into, what's the word? Rebellion, revolution. You're getting into that territory when people watch their children go hungry. Anyway, the economic strategy Labour hoped would stabilise Britain before the election is unravelling far sooner than expected. And now much depends on how long the current conflict lasts. Because if war drags on, Britain's economy will collapse even quicker. And some are saying, some economists, proper economists now, not people who lie on their CV, proper economists are saying we're at a tipping point already. If it goes on much more than a week or so, it may never recover. It may be beyond saving. Yippee. Well done, Labour. Well done, Reeves. I got the first female Chancellor. Yeah. So she was appointed because of her vagina, not because of her ability. Super, isn't it? Let me know your thoughts. Thanks very much. Bye.